Yo guys, what's going on? It's Speddey. I'm here to talk about my experiences while playing Amazon's upcoming MMORPG New World. Let's get straight into the pros and cons purely through what we experienced during the alpha and the beta testing stages. The first on the list of pros is the user interface or the UI. New World's user interface is probably one of the best I've come across in a long time. It's easy to read and easy to understand. The inventory screen, the map, the journal where you can select which quests you want pinned to the right hand side of your screen. Everything is laid out exactly where you would expect it to be. It's simple but yet captivating. Next up on the list we have gathering. Even gathering on this game doesn't feel like a chore, it feels more of a choice. Wherever you go in a tournament, nearly everything is interactable and gatherable. It feels like every single skill to do with gathering is important. And in the late game it wants you to drive yourself to actually level them up just so you're ready for what you need to do. There's a saying I always used to tell myself, do something future self will thank you for. So while exploring a tournament, make sure to chop some trees, mine some more, skin some animals or harvest some crops while running in between destinations, as you will normally have a long run ahead of you. Next up on the list we have exploration. While I was exploring myself, I found myself having to climb some steep cliffs and then on the other side of the cliffs and then have to jump down and take as little fall damage as I possibly could. You can tell Amazon have done a pretty good job with the landscape and interactable scenery, even though New World was originally meant to be just PvP orientated. They've done a good job adding all these new POIs filled with mobs to the game, giving it some more PvE content and additional lore on top of that. The exploration does feel a lot like Skyrim, but if you enjoy that type of content, then this game is definitely something that you will enjoy. And lastly, we have builds, and this is one of the favourite ones to talk about in my opinion. I like having the freedom to build my character around what I want, and New World is perfect for that. Having a class system where you decide what skill tree to master on your preferred weapon gives you more room to breathe. The class you choose is defined by the type of armor and weapons you're using. You could be a heavy armored tank or an agile light armored DPS build. It gives the game more purpose and meaning for those that base their character around being a tank or being a healer or being a DPS. Whatever build you choose to work towards, you're going to be needed at some point in the future. And now we are on to the cons. And the first con I want to go over is controller support. After playing the whole of the beta on a controller, after setting up through Steam's controller configuration settings and playing around with New World's in-game key bindings, I can say that the game was still very enjoyable for the most part. Although our controller doesn't have enough buttons to bind every single key to it, which is understandable, I sometimes had to press buttons on my keyboard for certain movements and for when I would go fishing. Also, every now and then the buttons I'd binded would randomly unbind from what I'd selected them to, so I'd find myself having brain farts trying to remember which buttons I had binded to what. Now, the next con I want to go over is the main story quest, or just quests in general. I didn't manage to get to the highest possible level cap, so I didn't finish the story that was available to us, so take this with a pinch of salt. The main story felt a little bit rushed and had us going from one destination to another for just 3 lines of dialogue and poor character building. It just seemed that we were doing all of this travelling just to learn a new tier for the As of staff and nothing else. Also, once you reach a point in the main story, you find yourself having to level up in order to progress further. It wasn't just 1 or 2 levels though, which would be fine. It was 5 levels or more. And again, when you reach that and you go and do the next 2 or 3 objectives in the main story quest, you'll find yourself at the same roadblock and having to get another 5 to 10 levels to progress in the quests again. And a lot of the side quests are very, very repetitive. You'll have yourself going to a farm to collect some carrots and then take them back to whoever you have to take them back to. So with this next con, I've seen a lot of people debating about it, and it is the variety of PvE mobs. While exploring, doing an open world dungeon or an expedition, you'll find yourself coming across the same enemy you've already seen or fought before. Some of the mobs are even just reskin variants of other mobs with exactly the same movesets. Basically, as you progress through the game, you'll come across the same enemies at just a different level depending on the activity you are doing or the area you are in. They need to add a little bit more variety, or if not that, the higher level mobs having different mechanics or movesets would be beneficial. But I still enjoy the game's PvE aspect regardless. This last topic isn't a pro or a con, I'm going to leave it open for debate, and it is mounts. Personally, I think if they included mounts into the game, it wouldn't go too well at all. Yes, quicker travelling would be nice to see, it would speed up a lot of the boring aspects of the game, but you have to think about it from a PvP aspect. Weapon mastery and gear wouldn't mean as much if you're getting constantly run over by a team of 5 all on mounts if you haven't got one. It just wouldn't be fun. So there's some pros and cons of Amazon's upcoming MMO New World. I'll be bringing out new content when New World launches on September 28th. So if you're interested in that, then leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And let me know what you think and what build you're going to be going for at launch. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy your day.